Good morning, Athens, and welcome to Education Matters, the official voice of the youth. Education Matters is sponsored by Drug Free Athens, helping to prevent substance abuse by youth, Ellison's Professional Services. When it comes to your tax return, go with who you know. Ellison's Professional Services. Athens Bounce House Rentals, when it's their pleasure to be a part of your celebration. And your local internet station, MediaRadioAthens.com. My name is Aiden Stevens, and joining me in the studio are
Andrea Taylor,
Aiden Dowdy.
Today on Education Matters, we will be discussing about the Chesson Community Organization with our guests, Mr. Life LaRoche, the Executive Director, and Ms. Ashley Mitchell, who is the Program Director. But before we start today's show, Drea will give us our words to grow on.
Your Word to Grow On quote today is by Brian Solis, published December 2nd in 2014. Community is much more than belonging to something. It's about doing something together that makes belonging matter. And that's Drea with your words to grow on.
Also, before we jump into today's show, Aiden will give us our history fact.
My name is Aiden Dowdy, and this is your history fact. Did you know that Mae C. Jemison became the first black woman to travel into space on September 12, 1992? As a physician, engineer, and NASA astronaut, she spent 8 days aboard the space shuttle. Jemison's journey showed young people that science, education, and determination can open doors once thought impossible. Her story continues to encourage students to dream big, stay curious, and never allow others to limit their goals. And that was your history fact given to you by Aiden Dowdy.
So, just to get everything started, could both of you just give us a little background about yourself and what led you to Chesson Community?
Okay, well, my name is Lemuel Life LaRoche. I am the Executive Director of Chesson Community. Some background, born and raised in New York City, but I have actually been in Athens longer than most of you was born. So I've been in Athens for well over 20 years. And it's just been an opportunity for me to realize that ever since I've been here, it's been, I've been doing a lot of work in the juvenile systems, and I always saw that there was a need to try to, bring programming, but more so critical thinking and things like that into the forefront. And this is what we started doing a lot of the chess and things at the YDC, which is a youth detention center, as well as in the juvenile centers. DJJ, Department of Juvenile Justice. So that started about since 99, since most of you was born, right? And we're going like about 26 years deep, strong, and we've just been growing as an organization. But that's a little bit about me.
Okay. And how do you feel about the youth in this generation when it comes to, just the community in general?
I mean, I think the youth in every generation we have our challenges. So I'm not going to say that the youth in this generation is any different from the youth in other generations. I think it's just a lot more distraction in this generation. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have, Instagram and TikTok. I didn't have all of that. But I think if I did, I would be as distracted as a lot of the youth that I see. And I think in our generation, we probably went outside a lot more. We went outside, we played, you couldn't keep us in the house. Whereas these days, I'll be trying to get my sons to get out the house, and they just be like, it's too hot, or they just want to, stay inside. So
it is hot.
It is hot out there, but for the most part, I think it's, I've seen a lot of challenges, and I've seen a lot of like brilliance. So I think this is one of the strongest and one of the best generations that we have, if applied, because y'all got access to everything. And some of the young brothers and sisters I run into today, sharp, next level. And then there are some that I run into that just needs a lot more guidance and a lot more, who just don't have access and who's just focused in the wrong direction. So that existed in my generation, that existed in the generation after me, that existed with my father, my parents. It's been here. So we ain't no difference. It's just what we have access to is what I believe.
So I'm going to introduce myself. So I'm Ashley, the Program Director. My background is in social work. I am born and raised in Athens, Georgia. But I started my career in Cobb County. So I was a case manager for a good minute. Then I went to probation, and then I went to back to case management and group homes. And then eventually I came back home, Athens, and I met Life. And I actually seen him speak when I used to work at the probation off DJJ. And years went by, and I just working at the group home, I ended up meeting him again. So it was kind of like a sign, like, hey, maybe I do need to go work with youth again. So that's what led me to Chesson Community.
So,
Go ahead.
so what does it look like being a program director? Like, what do you do in that position?
So being a program director, you really just taking the lead over all the programs within the whole entire community of the program. So I'm making sure everything's running smoothly, making sure we're going to all the community events, having staff meeting, making sure everybody is on the same accord. We have interns, we have volunteers, so, basically kind of like an executive assistant to the CEO, just making sure everything is running accordingly and making sure that everybody is happy and, any concerns, they're addressed and going from there.
And I think what Ashley does is so key because when you think about the program director, a lot of people just think we play chess. And it's like, no, we got robotics, we got debates, we got clubs, she has to coordinate with Atlanta team and sometimes the Macon team. So when we can have our debates between the three cities and she has to talk to the parents. So, I'm happy I don't have her job, right? I'll tell you that much.
So I do want to ask y'all, as y'all work with kids all the time and you try to teach them the best pathway in life, so do y'all feel like chess is a great comparison to life situations?
Most definitely. It's almost as if you hear all the time people like, this is chess, not checkers. Not saying that there's nothing wrong with checkers, because I've ran into some checkers players that took me out, you know what I'm saying? So chess is a very thoughtful game as well. But people who compare chess to life is because there are so many different moving pieces on the board, right? You have the castle, which represents your home, your community. You have the queen. Who's the queen in your house?
My mom.
Okay? Yeah. Or your sister, right? Who's the queen, right? You got the king. Who's the king in your house? Your dad. Who's the bishops? The churches that exist in our communities. You have the knights, which is the police department. Any community that don't have offense or any kind of defense is going to find themselves in a rough situation. So a lot of times when we teach chess, it's not just the chess alone, because people are like, I don't want to play chess. It's boring. It's for the nerds. And it's like, no. It's the life that I'm trying to show you, because as you get older, there's something called systems thinking. You're going to have to start to learn how systems around you work. So when we teach chess, they're learning about how does a city work? Like, who runs Athens? What district do you live in? Right? They get to interface with the police department. They get to think critically. They get to go present before the school board, to talk about challenges and things they want to do. So we just use chess as a model for helping you to kind of look at life and think about life differently. And chess is a game of thoughts. It's like you got to think. You can't just make moves. And as in life, you can't just make moves. You're going to find yourself trapped all the time if you move without thinking, if you move off of impulse. Whereas chess, you got to think. You got to plan. You got to strategize. You got to see what the next moves are. What say you, Ashley?
You took the words right out of my mouth. So just his motto of think before you move. Every chess piece you have to think before you move, and then also just thinking of your future movements. It's not always about just that one movement. So, you got to think 3 years ahead, 5 years ahead. You think you got it all planned out. Sometimes you don't. You just have to, like I said, think before you move.
Yeah.
So I know chess isn't the only thing that y'all do, but how did you first learn to play chess? Like, who taught you?
Me, it's growing up. It was always it was a man, I can never forget his name, Mr. Abraham. And when we was young, he used to always try to teach us how to play chess, right? And I'm from New York, so you're going up through schools and walking up, people were always playing chess in the parks, and they would always be like, come on through. Sometimes they'd be hustling. Throw $1 on the table, you know what I mean? Win this or whatever, they'd be hustling. But there was a lot of older brothers and sisters that was there to try to help us to say, yo, y'all got to start thinking about what y'all doing. You know what I mean? The world is a trap. They always say, the world is a trap. You know what I'm saying? You see upstate, they trying to get all y'all locked up upstate. So it's a trap. So you got to think your way out of these traps. And one of the ways to do it is to start to engage in a game of chess. So I started when I was young, and when I found myself in Athens and in the School of Social Work, I also graduated in the School of Social Work. And when I found myself doing a lot of community work, I would run into young students who were just like me. Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't a kid that was always getting in trouble and all that, but I wasn't focused. I wasn't, you know what I mean? I would run into younger students who were trapped in the juvenile system. Because I did my first internship was at the Department of Juvenile Justice. And I used to run to a lot of the young kids that was just cycling through there. And I used to be like, how am I going to reach them? And I used to always tell them, anybody beat me in chess, I'm going to give you $100. And every kid that was on my caseload, every kid I had to work with in the juvenile system, they would always be like, yo, I bet you I'm going to beat you. And I would teach them. And that's how kind of chess and community started. Like, I started right there teaching them. And then from there, it just started to grow. And they'd be like, let's play again. And after a while, they didn't really worry about the $100. I've had 2 beat me, actually, and I had to give up $100, you know what I mean, which was hurting to my pocket, especially. But it was the science behind that, which is more important, them learning. And one thing to learn a game, but then another thing, apply what you learn. And that's what Coach Ashley was saying, application. You got to learn how to think, how to plan. What you gonna do in 3 years? Like, think ahead. In 3 more years, one thing we know is every year 16-year-olds turn 17. A 17-year-old turn 18. And after 3 to 5 years, you know, you shift into a whole different role, right? So you don't think that ahead. You just think about the moment. And chess, I think, challenges you to start thinking ahead.
So with me, I didn't know how to play chess until last year. So that's how I learned. And he actually taught me. So.
Okay.
And a lot of people think you got to know how to play chess to be a part of it. And it's like, no, we do so much more. And is it hard, would you say?
It's not, actually. It's actually easier than what you think, to be honest. Once you learn how each piece moves on the board, and then when you put it all together, it's like, okay, it's simple. Just makes you think.
Okay.
Also depends on who you playing too.
Oh yeah. I get whooped. I mean, there's some masters out there. Like, I'm not a master. People like, yo, everybody wants to play me. You're the chess master. I'm like, I play pretty good, but there are some masters out there. And you know, I stay in my league, right? I stay where I stay at. But I think what separates us from a lot of chess clubs is we don't just teach chess. You know, we teach life, and we try to tell people how to use chess to better yourself.
And with that, we'll be right back after a quick run of commercials.
Looking to make your next party unforgettable? Then bounce into the fun with Athens Bounce House Rentals. We've got over 40 amazing inflatables, including bounce houses, exciting water slides, obstacle courses, and interactive games that will keep everyone smiling all day long. Need decorations too? We also offer over 40 colorful banners to help make your celebration extra special. Whether you're indoors or outdoors, on grass or concrete, Athens Bounce House Rentals has the perfect setup for birthdays, school events, church festivals, family reunions, and community celebration. And don't forget, mention this ad and ask about our 10% off special. Athens Bounce House Rentals is licensed, insured, and ready to bring the fun to your next event. Call Troy today at 706-202-8357 or visit www.athensbouncehouses.com. Athens Bounce House Rentals, bringing the fun one bounce at a time.
Let me show you how easy it is to give back. Open the Kroger app, tap the menu, go to rewards, then community rewards, search for ACC High School Completion Initiative, Inc., and hit enroll. That's it. Now every time you use your Kroger Plus card, a portion goes towards helping local students finish high school. No extra cost, no extra effort, just real impact.
This is Juice Arabia with an underage drinking myth and fact sponsored by Jug Free Athens. Myth: I can drink alcohol and not have any problems. Fact: if you are under 21 years old, alcohol is a big problem. It is illegal. Kids who drink are more likely to get poor grades in school and are at higher risk of being crime victims. That was an underage drinking myth and fact sponsored by Jug Free Athens. For more information on preventing youth substance abuse, go to jugfreeathens.org.
This is an important message from Isaiah Ellison of Ellison's Professional Services, LLC. Do you want to give yourself a raise, increase your credit score, and save money at the same time? Then pay your bills on the due date. Don't use the grace period, because if you do, your credit score is going to go down and you're going to pay more in interest rates and fees. Remember, go with who you know. Ellison's Professional Services.
You're still here with Education Matters, the official voice of the youth. My name is Aiden Stevens, and joining me in the studio are
Andrea Taylor
and Aiden Dowdy.
Today on Education Matters, we're still discussing about chess and community with our guests, Mr. Life and Miss Mitchell. But before we jump back into today's show, Aiden will give us our word of the week.
Your word of the week is the word strategy, a plan or method used to achieve a goal, especially by thinking ahead and considering different possibilities. The word strategy comes from the Greek word strategia, meaning the art of being a leader or a general. Like in chess, building a strong community takes strategy, patience, and teamwork. And that was your word of the week given to you by Aiden Dowdy. So, like I said off air, I feel like that chess community is the number one youth organization in Athens. Wow. That is also not to knock any other youth organization in Athens. The only reason why I feel as such is because chess community has most of the youth in Athens and the most consistency I've seen.
Well, I can challenge that just a little bit. First of all, thank you so much for that, because that's a very powerful. There's been a lot of organizations. You got the Boys and Girls Club, who definitely have the most youth in Athens, right? You got YMCAs, right? So I think when people think about nonprofits, you got to think about it in maybe several different areas. You got the bigger nonprofits, Boys and Girls Club, YMCA. They run things. They do a lot of things. Then you have more of we would consider ourselves maybe like a mid nonprofit, where we have a lot of programs. We do events that are free in the community. We're in schools. We're in the after-school centers. We have the community centers. We do all these different things. And then you got more of the smaller nonprofits there's a lot of people with passion that's like, I want to do this for my neighborhood. I'm tired of seeing this, but they just don't have the organization and the resources and the money. So the bigger nonprofits have the resources, they have the organizations, they have millions of dollars to do the work that they need to do. The middle space nonprofits are more like, we sometimes get the money, sometimes we don't, but we still try to manage and be consistent, because I think the word is consistency. We've been around since literally 2013 is when we became a nonprofit, but the work has been going on since about 99. 2000, before we became a nonprofit. So this is why it's like we're maybe one of the most visible, where you can see us everywhere and you see the kids playing chess and you engage and you hear us on the radio and you see us, and then we put on our conference every year and we give out scholarships and this and that. But there is a lot of, I'm taking my hat, there's a lot of nonprofits in this community that are doing some phenomenal work. You know what I mean? Phenomenal work. You know, from the Boys and Girls Club also to smaller nonprofits, there's so much people doing some great work. So I appreciate you saying that. And even with that, we always run into more. Right now, we're in our recruitment stage. Like, we're literally recruiting for the new cohort for the 2026-2027 year. And the first meeting we had, maybe one person showed up, right? So even at that, where you said, man, we have all the youth in Athens, I don't think we wish we had all, because we don't have the money to do it all. But the idea is that's why we're here, to let more people know that, we're here, we're available, we have engagements, it's going to be debates between Atlanta and Athens, chess between Atlanta and Athens. We're going to be doing Stone Mountain trips with the Atlanta base. So we do a lot of really cool things, and it's just about getting more people aware, getting people to know who we are and when. Because after we're done, people usually say, how can I get my kid involved? And we're like, we already closed the, we already started, but this is the time right now for recruiting. And Coach Ashley can maybe talk more about that.
Yes, so we have our interest meeting coming up Saturday on August 22nd at 11 o'clock at the U Force.
In the mall, yeah.
In the mall. We are looking for ages 11 to 18. This is co-ed, male and female. So anybody that's willing to join Chesson Community, come on out and hear about what Chesson Community is about.
Do you need to know how to play chess to join Chesson Community?
No, you do not need to know. How I said before, I didn't even know how to play chess. So
because that's what a lot of people think, like, you got to know how to play chess. And it's also Saturday is going to be a really dope opportunity. We're actually going to compete with a whole nother organization out of Atlanta. They driving here called Chessology, and they nice, and they want to come and compete with us. So if y'all want to just come and see it, and again, have fun. Chess is not like I know it seems boring, but it's not really all that boring, right? But have fun and get to learn about all the things we're doing. We are starting our partnership with the Boys and Girls Club, Youth Force Innovation Hub. We was doing a lot of work out there before, and now we're back in. So we're going to be working a lot more with Youth Force, and again, chess, robotics, just having fun.
So do you hope to see chess and community? Like you said, you see Chess Community as kind of in the middle nonprofit program, but do you hope in the future to see it as a big nonprofit program, like a Chess Community being as big or maybe even bigger than Boys and Girls Club in the YMCA?
So I would say yes, and I also need to recognize that I am not the puzzle. I am a piece of the puzzle. As big as the Boys and Girls Club is, as big as YMCA is, we're still not reaching all of the youth in Athens, right? There's a lot of youth in Athens. So sometimes it allows me to question things when nonprofits seems to just everybody's trying to go for the same kids. There is a lot of youth in Athens, some who have never heard of Education Matters, some who has never heard of Chesson Community, some who have never heard of all of these different nonprofits. So I see it that we all play our role. Like the Boys and Girls Club is a staple organization in this community. They got generations. They've been doing this since probably before I was born, right? They've been here. They've been engaged. They've been doing the work. And it's not about competing with them. It's about how do we work with the Boys and Girls Club? How do we bring some of the innovation programs and stuff that we do into the Boys and Girls Club so we can continue to keep our young people? Because Chesson Community, we may impact 20 to 50-something kids in Athens, whereas the Boys and Girls Club got, maybe 300, 400, 500, 600, 700 kids. So if we can bring some of our programs there, we can help them to grow. We see ours more of their kids that are not into the Boys and Girls Club. There are kids who are not into all the youth sports, because there's a lot of youth sports in Athens that do phenomenal work, from basketball to football. Shout out to Dante Robson and all the different organizations that are doing phenomenal work, but not every kid is into that, right? Not every kid can be the football player, can be the athlete. There are some kids that like engineering, that likes video games, that like robotics, that likes to argue, debates, that want to be lawyers, that want to be this. And it's where can they find these outlets? where they can find it at school, but you got to join the school club. Mom, we got to come pick you up. Is the bus going to be there available? All those things. So what we try to do is we try to provide that outlet for the students that are after school, like our Saturday programs, where you can come and you can engage with other young kids that may be into the same things that you're into, right? So yes, in the sense of we will one day get as big as all of those other organizations, but it's not about competing. And I think that's the mindset that we have to change. Like, we're not competing with nobody. When other organizations see what we do and they feel like we're not competing with you. There's enough for, even if every nonprofit youth program was at full capacity, then we still are not enough to figure out with all the kids from Stonehenge to North Ave to East Athens. There's a lot of kids that need programming that we just don't have enough organizations to meet that. So the last thing we need to do is compete with each other or even think about how I'm going to outdo you. It's like, how do we work together so we can reach all of the kids? And this is the stuff that we've been trying to do. Like during off season, instead of if you're into sports, during off season, what are you doing? Can you get into this literacy club? Can you get into this club? Can you get into that club? So that way we can continue to grow in other areas. What say you, Coach?
I mean, I agree. But yeah, absolutely. I feel like we can be one of the top organizations. And like you said, it's not a competition. So.
And I do want to add that I know previously we were talking about how it's recruitment season.
Yeah.
But y'all didn't specify how people could get recruited. So how could they get in contact with y'all?
Let's see. So we have a QR code that people can scan, but you can also go to our website, www.chessoncommunity.org. We have the flyer on our Instagram, TikTok. So that would be pretty much all our social media engines that you can go on and get that information.
And or you could just show up. I mean, it's good to show up just to see what we're doing, and because we're going to do presentations and stuff there, and it's going to be Saturday at the mall. We did one on a weekday, and it was a week event. You know what I mean? No one really showed up, right? But I understand. School just started. It's a lot of parents are still at work, But Saturday, August 22nd, we're going to be at the mall between 11 and 2. But really between 11 and 12, come on out there so you can see what we got going on. There's also a number, Chesson Community number, 706-540-3299, 706-540-3299. And check out our website, www.chessandcommunity.org. And just ask, even if they call and ask, yo, what's that? We're going to be, come to Youth Force in the mall at 11 o'clock and just be a part of the whole conversation.
So yes, if you're listening and you don't have anything to do today, go check them out. And with that, we'll be right back after a quick run of commercials.
This is an important message from Isaiah Ellison of Ellison's Professional Services, LLC. Did you know that under IRS rules, you can pay your minor child up to $15,750 a year that will not be taxable to your child, but you can still deduct it on your tax return? Keep the money in the family and go with who you know. Ellison's Professional Services.
As a new student of the ACC High School Completion Initiative organization, I picked up many skills along the way. I've learned how to create a resume, write a professional email, and other useful soft skills that are applicable for my future self. I've been exposed to many opportunities and experiences, such as being able to interview many people specialized in multiple fields through the Education Matters program. I look forward to picking up much more along the way as I continue to enjoy my journey. You can help us continue our mission by donating to ACC HSCI by visiting our page. Hello,
My name is Imari Lewis. I am a member of the Gaines School Golden Eagles Youth Reporters. Here's a drug-free Athens myth or fact. Myth: if you're pregnant and use drugs, your body protects the baby. Fact: drug affects a newborn child as much or more than the mother. Drugs used during pregnancy can cause the baby to die or be born too early. It could also damage the baby's mind and body. My name is Imari Lewis.
This substance abuse prevention message is sponsored by Drug Free Athens, a nonprofit organization seeking to reduce drug use among youth in the Athens community at large. For more information, visit their website www.drugfreeathens.org.
Looking to make your next party unforgettable? Then bounce into the fun with Athens Bounce House Rentals. We've got over 40 amazing inflatables, including bounce houses, exciting water slides, obstacle courses, and interactive games that will keep everyone smiling all day long. Need decorations too? We also offer over 40 colorful banners to help make your celebration extra special. Whether you're indoors or outdoors, on grass or concrete, Athens Bounce House Rentals has the perfect setup for birthdays, school events, church festivals, family reunions, and community celebration. And don't forget, mention this ad and ask about our 10% off special. Athens Bounce House Rentals is licensed, insured, and ready to bring the fun to your next event. Call Troy today at 706-202-8357 or visit www.athensbouncehouses.com. Athens Bounce House Rentals, bringing the fun one bounce at a time.
You're still here with Education Matters, the official voice of the youth. My name is Aiden Stevens, and joining me in the studio are
Andrea Taylor.
Aiden Dowdy.
with our guests, Mr. Life, and Miss Mitchell. And today we're still discussing about chess and community. But before we jump back into today's discussion, Andrea will give us our scholarship.
Your scholarship today is the Coca-Cola Scholars Program. The purpose of this program is to create a competitive, achievement-based corporate scholarship for high school seniors in the U.S. To be eligible, you must be a current high school or homeschool senior in the U.S. You must graduate during the 2026-2027 academic year currently, must hold a 3.0 overall high school GPA or higher, have to be a U.S. citizen, permanent resident, or hold an eligible legal status, and relatives of Coca-Cola employees or bottlers are not eligible, as that's a rule. The awards that you gain from this program is all 150 students who are part of the scholarship will receive $20,000 toward their school and education. And that is Dre with their scholarship.
All right, so I do want to ask the first question going in here. So what would you do if I slapped on this table and handed you a $50,000 check? What would be the first thing you're going to do with it?
Man, well, we have a lot of programs, so 50,000, it would be swallowed in the ocean of programs that we have. Let me stop. We have a lot of programs, right? And with everything that we do, we have a big bus, but sometimes we find ourselves with no gas. Right? So gas is what keeps the bus going, right? So if we have a lot of programs and we don't have the funding, like every program we have, kids eat. There's food every Saturday. There's food. There's equipments that are needed for the robots. There are coaches that we have that come in that we gotta pay. We got our free programs. So if I had that $50,000, we would make it stretch a long way. We'll be able to really keep a lot of our programs going. And this is why we have to start programs like, we have our chess-a-thon, which is going to be in November. That's one of our big fundraisers, is a way to bring people into town and let people play chess and support. We got an International Chess Day, which is another program. We have our Chess and Community Conference. This is in March. And this is opportunities for sponsors and different people to support all of the different programming that we do. So definitely, I know this is Black Philanthropist Month, and so we looking for one of those Black philanthropists to drop some of that $50,000 that you was talking about, right? And if not that, something that can really help not just us, but a lot of organizations to keep going, right? So I like the way you think, and we've just launched an entire AI component of what we do, AI literacy, where literally young people can like build with AI, build companies and learn how to build with AI, like what is machine learning, and young people will get incentivized for learning about artificial intelligence, because whether we like it or not, whether we think it's the devil, whether we think whatever we think about it, it's here, right? And within another 3 to 5 years, we're going to see that a lot of people are going to be left behind because people don't know how to work with the technology. The same way when the computers came out, and everybody's like, oh, the computer is this and this and this, and those who didn't take advantage of it, who didn't learn, they got left behind. So the same thing is happening now. There's an evolution of what's happening, and some people say it's not evolution. We devolving. We're not evolving. But however we see it, young people need to learn how to work with AI. So Chess and Community, working with Dream Engine, we've launched like an AI platform. So we always look for ways to find ways to bring resources in. And that's why it's a good question that you asked, because we have to always think of how do we bring extra money in so that we can keep the programs going. Because it's not just in Athens, we're in Atlanta. I mean, we all over the world, really, to be honest, from Nigeria to Ethiopia to, we got people who ask me to come to Brazil. We have a Chess and Community, Dominican Republic. I mean, we all over. And we're not raising money in Athens for everybody. Everybody in other cities, in Atlanta, we just did a program. We had like 100 and some kids in Atlanta. You know what I mean? That are coming. Parents want them to be in here. So it's like in Athens, we do a program. You know, we got to try to find people, you know, where other people want it. And I think it's like because it was born in Athens, people were like, it's just going to be around. Like you said, it's going to say, I'm going to get to it when I get to it. Whereas other places, people were like, it's yearning for it. So if we had the resources, we will continue to grow what we do, and we'll be able to really reach more people, get more marketing out there, get out there more. Like we don't have a van, we got to rent vans, we got to rent all these things. So extra money helps us to do all of that.
I'll also say it'll probably help us take our kids on trips.
Yes.
You know, taking them to Ethiopia, taking them to New York or anywhere, because with the programs I also wanted to implement us taking them to Washington D.C. after the debate program, taking them to New York to see the big banks after our financial literacy program. Just, you know, that money will really help, because a lot of these kids haven't even been out of Athens.
Yeah.
So
Yes, that's true. Most kids don't get the
exposure.
Yeah.
Exposure. That's a great point, Ashley. Great point. And it takes dough to make bread.
Oh.
Okay, you get it. Okay.
Yeah, you just It took me a minute.
It
I had to
went
click.
over.
It took dough to make.
Wait, I still don't. It still ain't clear.
It takes dough to make bread. Right?
Money.
It
Money
takes
is the dough, and then it takes money to go on trips, and trips is the bread.
Yeah.
You still get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it.
See, no. See y'all see why I think Chess Community is the best non-profit. Yeah.
Oh man, I love that, man. Hey man, we need to include. How much I owe you, brother? How much I owe you for saying all this?
You can shoot me $50,000. I can use it.
Yeah.
My brother just went to college. What you mean? What?
Yeah. Nah, I feel you, man. But again, it's a lot of organizations like Education Matters. I look up to the work that y'all do. I remember, like, in fact, since Chess and Community first started, like Education Matters was there. It was our very first conference. And we have that. It's on a Life Degree or documentary. It's like over 2014. You know what I mean? There Education Matters and Mr. Dunn, and so y'all was at the. So it's always been Education Matters has always been a partner and just a good friend of Chess and Community. So we appreciate all the work that you all are doing, and to develop the next generation of journalists and thinkers and writers. I mean, y'all dope. So don't just put it on us. Y'all dope too.
Oh, back at you.
Well, if you want to put it like that, I mean.
Aiden. Okay, anyways, I have a question. So, what would you say is the biggest challenge when you first... What would you say was the biggest challenge when you first built these programs from the ground up?
With anything, and this is a good lesson especially for youth. A lot of times what you have in your mind you may be like, man, this is the dopest thing ever, man. Everybody gonna jump on this. Everybody's gonna do this. This is what's happening. And when you put it out there, then everybody's like, man, you don't see that response. You don't feel people, So a lot of times the biggest challenge is always, how do we get people to, after we built the program, how do we fund it? How do we support it? That's one. And two, how do you get other people to buy into it? And this is why even bringing Coach Ashley on was very vital, because she helps me to say, okay, look, this may be cooler to you in your head, but you're a dinosaur. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, you know what I'm saying? You got to start doing other things. You got to start getting more innovative. You got to, you know what I mean? My mom's like, yeah, we are innovative. It's like, yeah, but it's other things. You need more voices. And sometimes the saying goes, if you too close to a picture, you can't see it. If I was to put my hand right in front of you, I'd be like, what letter is this? You'd be like, oh, back up a little bit, right? When you too close, you can't see it. And oftentimes, being that I've been so close and I've built it from the DNA, the ground up, and the long years, and this and that, and I've seen it. I've grew gray hairs behind it. And now having different people come in and give you a different perspective, especially somebody from Athens. Ashley's from Athens. Broderick is from Athens. Having people from this community that can help you see and say, you might want to do this a little different, because we don't rock with that. You know what I mean? We don't really like that kind of stuff. So the biggest challenge is always going to be funding, but the challenge for myself is stepping back and allowing more voices into this space, allowing Coach Ashley to give me a perspective that I haven't seen. She came up with a program that's really dope. We've been doing civic engagement program, but we got a program called If I Was President. That was her thinking. She thought about that. And it's a dope program. They get to vote. They get to, if they were president, they get to run an election. So these are like in programs that we have that can be pretty cool. So
I was there. I remember that.
Yes.
I remember. Yes. I was there.
Yes. There we go. So, but that was, again, we didn't have that program 2-3 years ago, right? But now we have that program, and this is what happens when you allow new voices to come in, and we get to die out and kill out a lot of programs that we see is not, like, this is cool. We had a chess and boxing. I thought people would love chess and boxing. Go in there, kids learn how to box, but it's more than box. You learn how to discipline and self-control, and you know what I mean? But, we put it, people didn't really come. So
I would have came.
Did you do it with
If I knew
Ishmael?
about it, I would have did it.
You said what?
Did you do it with Ishmael?
Yeah, Coach Ish.
That's my boxing coach.
Yeah, so Coach Ish, ask him about Check Hook. That's the name of the program.
Me and him, when I went to private school, he was our boxing coach. But I was saying, when I was in private school, me and him, we played, because he was going to be our boxing coach there for a new activity at school. And he thought I didn't know how to play. And I love it when my opponent thinks that I don't know how to play chess.
You sleep on him.
And every time I make a good move or a move that puts him in a bad position, I win.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to move.
Yeah.
Because that's how I come in. I come in thinking that I don't know how to play at all.
Okay.
And then at that point, I come in beating them.
Yeah. So those are the challenges, you know what I mean? But I try to make it more community, like reach out to more, collaborate with more. We're in the library every Monday. We got Chess and Pizza, so we was at Little Italy. Shout out to Little Italy's, but we're at Mellow Mushrooms, the last Thursday of every month. You know what I mean? So we try to do a lot of cool things, but the biggest challenge is always resources, and most important, and I think this is a lesson for anybody listening. You don't know everything. Take a step back and allowing other people to help you see it, to help you incorporate.
Now, I will say Chess and Pizza was a very good idea, because the first way to the youth is food. And with that, we'll be right back after a quick run of commercials.
Hello, my name is Juicer Rabia. I'm a member of the Gaines School Golden Eagles Youth Reporters. Here's a drug-free Athens myth or fact. Myth: you have to use drugs for a long time before they can really hurt you. Fact: drugs can use the brain to send the work signals to the body. This can make a person stop breathing, have a heart attack, or go into a coma. This can happen the first time the drug is used. My name is Juice Sarabia.
This substance abuse prevention message is sponsored by Drug Free Athens, a non-profit organization seeking to reduce drug use among youth and the Athens community at large. For more information, visit their website www.drugfreeathens.org.
Looking to make your next party unforgettable? Then bounce into the fun with Athens Bounce House Rentals. We've got over 40 amazing inflatables, including bounce houses, exciting water slides, obstacle courses, and interactive games that will keep everyone smiling all day long. Need decorations too? We also offer over 40 colorful banners to help make your celebration extra special. Whether you're indoors or outdoors, on grass or concrete, Athens Bounce House Rentals has the perfect setup for birthdays, school events, church festivals, family reunions, and community celebration. And don't forget, mention this ad and ask about our 10% off special. Athens Bounce House Rentals is licensed, insured, and ready to bring the fun to your next event. Call Troy today at 706-202-8357 or visit www.athensbouncehouses.com. Athens Bounce House Rentals, bringing the fun one bounce at a time.
Are you passionate about sports like football, basketball, or even flag football? The Athens Clark County High School Completion Initiative is looking for students in grades 8th through 12th to broadcast high school and Little League sports live on MURadioAthens.com. If you or someone you know is motivated, dependable, and ready to learn what it takes to break into the exciting world of sports broadcasting, this is your chance. To apply, submit your audition tape to hsci@acchsci.org by July 20th. Don't just watch the game, call it on your local internet radio station, MURadioAthens.com. Apply today. Let your broadcasting journey begin.
This is an important message from Isaiah Ellison of Ellison's Professional Services, LLC. Do you want to save money and build wealth for your family? Then do a household budget and then live on 90% of your income and save the other 10%. Remember, it's not how much you make, it's how much you spend. And remember, go with who you know, Ellison's Professional Services.
You're still here with Education Matters, the official voice of the youth. My name is Aiden Stevens, and joining me in the studio are
Andrea Taylor
And Aiden Dowdy.
with our guests, Mr. Life and Miss Mitchell. But before we jump back into today's discussion about Cheshire community, I will give us our 2-year health fact. This is Aiden with your 2-year health fact. Today's 2-year health is especially important because we're dealing with a major heat wave across Georgia and the South. Heat index values are reaching well over 100 degrees in parts of Georgia, and that can put people at risk for heat exhaustion and heat strokes. So, what can we do to protect ourselves? First, stay hydrated. Drink water throughout the day and don't wait until you're extremely thirsty. If you're working or exercising in the heat for extended periods, the CDC recommends regular fluid breaks. For moderate activity lasting less than 2 hours, one recommendation is about 8 ounces of water every 15 to 20 minutes. Second, change when you do outdoor activities. If possible, exercise, work, or practice sports early in the morning or later in the evening when it's cooler. Take frequent breaks in the shade or an air-conditioned location. Third, dress for the heat. Wear lightweight, loose-fitting clothing and protect yourself from direct sunlight. Fourth, check on other people. Don't forget elderly family members, young children, neighbors, people who work outside, and anyone who may not have reliable air conditioning. Extreme heat can affect some people more quickly than others. And finally, know the warning signs. Heavy sweating, headache, dizziness, weakness, nausea, muscle cramps, and unusual thirst can be signs of heat illness. If someone becomes confused, loses consciousness, or appears to be suffering from heat stroke, get emergency medical help immediately. This week, remember 3 things. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and look out for each other. That's how we keep our community healthy. That was your 2-year health fact by Aiden.
And don't forget about if you seeing stars in your sight, make sure you tell somebody. But before we went on break, I asked y'all how would y'all feel about having kind of like a youth team to go with the adults. as far as when y'all have a new idea, y'all can consult the youth about it?
I honestly think that would be a great idea. Even as a program director with the youth that we have, I try to ask what activities or skills or programs they would like to see within Chess and community outside of our normal programs that we have. Having a youth perspective, because now these days everything's different. I mean, I can consider myself a little dinosaur too. I mean, I look young, but I'm up in age.
You a baby dinosaur.
I'm a baby dinosaur. So, I'm still trying to learn the new slang and new things that our youth are into right now. So, I think that would be an absolutely incredible idea for us to have a youth team to come in and give us different perspectives.
So the program we have with the youth president, like in VP, do they sort of lead, or he's talking more of getting the
I think
youth
he's talking more of having an outside youth team, right, coming in and kind of like a youth board of directors to come in and give us a little bit more perspective. I mean, I actually think that would be...
That's dope, yeah.
I mean, even to work with the president of Chess and Community.
Yeah.
So.
And y'all could have scouters, because, Chess and Community has a wide span of age groups.
Right.
Yeah.
So, y'all have an individual that goes into the school, advertises for y'all for each grade level.
Right. So, even with our age group, so, like, from 11 to, 15, we try to separate. So normally from 16 to 18, we try to focus on college prep, getting them prepared to do applications, learning what schools are out there that they want to go to, what majors they want to major in, learning how to write scholarship essays or just essays to get into college. So
I say 14.
And they get to mentor, they get to have a lot of mentors or even interns who are currently in college to just kind of guide them through some of this process. I think what Coach Ashley said is very key, because we think about 18 to 11. An 18-year-old is not trying to be in the same space with an 11-year-old. Right. Your little brother, he's annoying, she's annoying, la la la, whatever. Whereas 18, you're more thinking about what you want to do with your life, with your career. So it's critical that we learn to separate the two. And this is all stuff that we've designed over the years.
And then with our 11 to 14, 15, we want to focus on what our programs, what they can learn out of the programs that we are actually providing for them outside of them focusing on graduating from high school.
Yeah. And there's another component to it as well, is after we give scholarships. Think before you move scholarships. And those people that get scholarships, they get to go on, and we give them some money and they go to college, and we encourage them to do what they need to do in college in those spaces.
What do you have to do to be
eligible?
For some said scholarship. Eligible. Sorry.
Eligible.
So, it's when we have our conference, we put the word out. And we send the stuff into the schools. You have to be a high school senior. Mm-hmm. We once had a junior and senior, but we just focus on senior. And the whole idea is we need to know, you can at least maintain a B average. So that way, and even sometimes we want to kind of maintain the B, because I was a low C, B student. I wasn't an A student at 3.0, so I didn't get a chance to get all the scholarships. And there are so many bright minds that get left behind because they don't see opportunities. So we try to open it up where even if maybe low B, you know what I'm saying, you can be eligible for the scholarship. You got to do some community service. You got to be involved in something. We don't want you just kind of hang around and not do nothing and just expect to get money, right? So you got to get involved in some activities in your community. You got to be, and that's what makes you eligible. And you got to write an essay. We got essays, and you got to be able to present that essay at that conference.
And it can't be ChatGPT made.
Sometimes we can tell, right? Somebody write ChatGPT and you tell them to read it, and they're like, You like, did you write? Because if you write something, you know what you wrote.
Yeah,
Right.
It's coming from you. Right?
And then we also asked them to read it at the conference.
And you don't want to be embarrassed, and you go up there and you read, and you have a word you have never even saw. And you trying to pronounce it. It's like, did you write it?
Right.
Yes.
Look at me for it. I don't use ChatGPT.
Boy.
Anyway, I wanted to know, what have you guys learned from working with other people and each other?
Patience.
Patience, yeah.
Patience and support. You have to really learn how to be patient when you're working with other people. Let's see, what else have I learned?
And I think that's a really good point, because not everybody is like, we're not all the same, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We come from different backgrounds, different ages, and sometimes I might see something one way, Coach Ashley may see it another way, Coach Jamon, Coach, everybody may see it their own different ways, and we have to learn, like, okay, how do we be more effective in communication? How do we communicate our thoughts more clearly? And that's what it takes to run any organization and to be a part of an organization. You know, you got to communicate. You got to be patient with each other. And, yeah.
And I'll also say being open-minded, because everything is always changing around you, so.
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
That's a big word. A little bit. Next question, Draco.
So, yeah. So how do you hope your programs impact children who may not have access to opportunities like this elsewhere?
Right. So, I mean, I think it's exposure.
Mm-hmm.
That the very root of it all is exposure. When I was a kid growing up, I used to hear that during the summer, a lot of my friends would, in New York, they would go to different places.
That's where your
They would have
accent.
went to this, and they travel, and they do all these different things. And to Ashley, right, and to Ashley's point, what if you never left your neighborhood? What if you never left the environment? What if nobody exposed you to chess, to robotics, to debates, to other things, and you just thought that the only thing it was football or rapping, or to be a what is that called, influencer? So exposure. I think our program opens exposure, and we just hope that more people can come and just be a part of it.
Thank you. And here on Education Matters, we ask all of our guests this essential question. And that question is, why does education matter to you?
Education matters to me because, you need that education. You need to learn how to read, learn how to, calculate math. Like, just going somewhere and not knowing what you're getting into. You have to really think. And with Chess and Community, our motto is think before you move. So, education is a key to succeeding in the world.
Yeah, and I would agree. I would second that. Education is so critical. It opens up the door to an entire different world.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if you don't read? What happens if you haven't built the vocabulary for reading? What happens if you are not exposed to certain things? And education opens the door. Even if you don't get the physical experience, by you educating yourself, by you learning, and by you have access to all the education that's around you, it allows you to your imagination to grow, and it allows your vocabulary to grow, and it allows you to take yourself to the next level. So education truly matters.
Thank you for listening to Education Matters, the official voice of the youth. Education Matters is sponsored by Drug Free Athens, Ellison's Professional Services, Athens Bounce House Rentals, and MeURadioAthens.com. If you missed any portion of this program or would like to hear it again, it can be heard Saturdays at 9 a.m. and 10 a.m., Mondays at 5:30 p.m., and Tuesdays at 10 a.m. on MeURadioAthens.com. You can also listen on demand at our YouTube channel, Education Matters Network. Education Matters is a production of the High School Completion Initiative.